Hey, you all, welcome back to the channel. And guys, today want to talk Bitcoin MYK. Will it hit $1,000? We're going to talk about some of the early history of Bitcoin here. And we're also going to talk about a new feature our site is working on called micro workers. So let's talk a little bit about, can Bitcoin MYK hit $1,000 per token? Of course, that would be ideal for us, especially with the program we've implemented as part of our universal basic income. It would mean everyone claiming a Bitcoin MYK token could then cash that out for $1,000 per month, meeting basic needs of many people who need to have a basic living, right? Basic resource for them to be able to live each month. And so that would be awesome if we can do that, if we could pull that off. Can we? Well, we're going to explore that now, and we're going to look at some of the early days of Bitcoin, and we're going to compare some things and see what we come up with. So we're looking at, on this chart here, this price chart, we're looking at this data that's talking about back in August of 2010, Bitcoin was trading at 6 cents. That's not a mistake. That's the price of what Bitcoin was. Now, I find this interesting that today, right now, if you hold any Bitcoin MYK tokens, using our cross-chain mechanism, you can convert to a similar value, this token of about 6 cents. We're still in the fork process of getting everybody their tokens. Trading hasn't really started yet. Everybody will get their tokens. A lot of people the last day of the month. So we're going to be watching the price and volume then. But of course, with the cross-chain feature, that's going to keep it somewhere in the 6 cent range, meaning people going to be able to redeem at about a value of that. So that's going to probably make them not want to sell or dump the token below that. Now, and we expect as the cross-chain feature and value increases, then the price will go up as well in that regard. So will it reach $1,000? Let's look at the path of Bitcoin. We see Bitcoin starting as low as 6 cents. Now think about that. Just think about that for a second. And think back to some of the things I was saying about Bitcoin early on. And that was things like people were just giving it away, thousands of Bitcoin, just giving them away. And when you see that Bitcoin was only at 6 cents in 2010, it's a lot easier to see that Bitcoin was being given away quite a bit, because we get a lot of these ideas in these models, whereas we're not a universal basic income token. What we do is we take the unclaimed, uncirculated Bitcoin and put that into the universal basic income program, which funds that. The rest of the token carries on more or less just like Bitcoin, being this transactional money where you deflationary money is only so much of it. But you can see that Bitcoin was kind of like this free-for-all, right? And so the idea is that you can't give away tokens. You can't, have money going out. And if you do, it won't be of much value, is incorrect, I think. But we can see when it jumps to 2011 rather, Bitcoin is up more than went up almost 11, 12 times, right? In 2011. And that's when a lot of people start to really kind of, hear about Bitcoin more and more. And so you see it's on this gradual incline. Now with Bitcoin MYK, a lot of good things working in our favor. Not only will we have the opportunity as now to start at the same price range as Bitcoin starting here, as it started at 6 cents. I think we could be redeemed somewhere around that value now, give or take. But you have a great upside potential. Now, with all of the negative press Bitcoin has received with the pullbacks and people complaining, if you really look at Bitcoin value-wise, it's undeniable. Look at this. From 2010 to 2011, jumps to 70 cents. In 2012, it's at $4.90. Isn't that crazy? $4.90. In 2013, it hits $93. I think I remember that. I think I remember when it first broke $100. In 2015, it's at $243. In 2016, it's at $417. And in 2017, Bitcoin finally reached $1,000. And now we're sitting around, as this chart was a bit dated, as it can't cover all of 2018, but we're at around just under $4,000. But here's the thing. If you go back to 2017 and you take any investment out there, take any investment you can think of, and if I told you that if you invested last year, you're going to have like a 300% return, a 400% return on your investment, 2018, I'm sure you would factor that as a good investment, not a bad investment. Now the problem is, I think with Bitcoin, we don't know how to hold Bitcoin. Everybody's selling at the wrong prices, aren't they? You just hold it from the price you bought it at, right? You hold it and don't sell it until it's above the price you purchased it at. So, like if historical records follows, right, all you got to do is hold within the framework of a year or a little bit over a year, and you're oftentimes able to get your recapture the money you put in and with some profits based on this historical data, based on it jumping from in 2016 from $400 to $1,000. And that's just the facts of Bitcoin. They're not debatable. We have the records here. Despite what people say about or believe about or think about it, this is what has occurred with Bitcoin. Now let's jump back to Bitcoin MYK in comparison. Can we have a run up like this? Well, if we look at other forces, we look at Bitcoin Cash, which wasn't, Bitcoin, it hit around $1,000. And that's, many reasons it hit around that, but it was possible it did it. Also, we have a very low performing Bitcoin right now. We have a Bitcoin that's under $4,000. We don't know what Bitcoin will be next year or the year after and the year after that, which means that's good potential to even accelerate Bitcoin MYK's value up. The bottom line is, even if Bitcoin MYK is at 6 cents, it's a lot easier for Bitcoin MYK to go from 6 cents to 12 cents, right? It's a lot easier for Bitcoin MYK to go from 6 cents to 12 cents than it is for Bitcoin itself to go from just under $4,000 now to $8,000 or $16,000 or $32,000, because that would mean that the whole market cap of Bitcoin would have to double and triple, and that would mean that you would have to have unprecedented amount of billions just pouring in, which we've seen happen over during a hype phase of Bitcoin. But for the most part, Bitcoin hasn't moved like it moved at the end of 2017 throughout its history. That was a crazy move. That, we saw Bitcoin jump from about $4,000 to about $19,000. And so I'm not expecting that. I could expect something like that with Bitcoin MYK. And Bitcoin MYK has all the features of Bitcoin. It follows the ledger to the T. As you gain more Bitcoin, the value of your Bitcoin MYK stake increases as well. You don't have to buy any. As long as you're buying and mining Bitcoin, your Bitcoin MYK value goes up. Now, some people would say, well, it's just another fork and that probably won't happen. But now Bitcoin MYK has many more features than Bitcoin. That's going to put it in, I think, a very unique position. And so when it comes to mass adoption, whether it's Bitcoin or any other cryptocurrency, mass adoption has been very difficult for these tokens to achieve. Bitcoin at its height is speculated to have maybe 50 million wallets, but how many people have more than one Bitcoin wallet? I have several Bitcoin wallets. And, if those are being counted, it's not really 50 million solid Bitcoin holders and users, right? So that's something to consider as well. So mass adoption is nowhere near here yet, and we're far off from that. Now, with our program, I'm just going to be honest and tell you like this, guys, that most of the world is poor and don't have much, but we do have value in one another in our social value. So here's why we believe we'll probably end up achieving mass adoption over most people, because most of the world is poor. That means most people will probably want to be involved in our program and our coin. People don't want to be measured by aggregate value, meaning I don't want to be measured by how many dollars are in my bank account. I want respect, and I want to be measured by being a person. But then I know I have value to give to other people, and so does everybody else. So here's what we're saying here. The UBI program of our coin, we believe, will create a lot of wallets. No doubt about it. Create a lot of wallets. And what I found going in the cryptocurrency space a lot with many platforms I was involved in was that the platforms wanted money from people who were in places that held a lot of money, places in the West that can make these sizable investments, and people who were in parts of the world that didn't make much money. They were probably not so desirable to the cryptocurrency space, because I think the idea was, what value could they bring to it? They couldn't put their euros in. They couldn't put their whatever fiat currency they had. The value of it was maybe not as much either. So here's the direction we're going in with this as well, guys. Again, the Universal Basic Income Program, which is going to be the mass adoption engine, I believe, for our coin, where we can have hundreds of millions, if not a billion people. The thing is, this value that's coming in, this social value that's coming into this network, that will, in my opinion, become, if not the largest, one of the largest, has to be, it has to be implemented in a way where everybody can partake in this value. How are we going to do this? Well, that brings us to our latest feature. The latest program we're working on with Bitcoin Myk is the Micro Workers Program. And how the Micro Workers Program works, how the Bitcoin Workers Program works, I say micro workers. Originally, it was supposed to be micro workers, but this doesn't have to be just small transactions. So it can be either micro workers, or it can be just standard workers in a sense. But in a situation, we're gonna pair jobs and skill sets to people who want to pay for them for whatever reason in Bitcoin Myk, right? And so this is going to bring tremendous value to people who live in places, other countries, developing nations, but have skills. Many people in developing nations have a lot of computer skills that they can market for very low. And this value will be transmitted in Bitcoin Myk. And they'll, in turn to that, have an opportunity to collect universal basic income as well. So this will create a super opportunity, a great opportunity for not just them, but everybody involved, a chance to make these skills valuable and marketable, traded against the Bitcoin Myk token. So that's why I think that, this is going to be so important, bringing value into this market. I've made comparisons in the past where we talked about how in the normal economies we're part of, it's easy to obtain currency. It's easy to get a dollar. It's easy to get a job in some cases. It's easy to just go up to someone and say, I'll do this task for you, and collect the dollar, right? So in this task workers program, you're going to be able to do that with Bitcoin Myk tokens, right? And again, it will range from very small tasks. It can be a few cents. in Bitcoin MYK to it can be something that covers a standardized job with a full salary and economy to a degree, right? And so this is going to be, I think, a very important part to implement into this and to help people understand that these models can work. And coupling this with cryptocurrency, it can work. It's just how we go about it and how we find value in this. But, again, for people who kind of look at Bitcoin MYK as a token they can't make money with, people who look at it and go, well, I don't want to be involved with this because I'd rather speculate and hold my bag in something that may or may not make me money. I would make an argument, right? And again, when it comes to trading third-party sites, we're not, we don't have anything to do with that. That's third party. So we're not guarantee you that any price will achieve any price. We want that to happen. And there are mechanisms involved with our cross-chain tokens and our product itself and the value being that I think will influence the price of the market. But again, if you look at this price charting, 6 cents to 70 cents, it's a lot easier to go from 6 cents to 70 cents to try to go from 4,000 to 20,000. And I think most of you all will agree that it's much easier to get 100 billion in the market than to get 800 billion in the market, right? So I think we're all on the same page with that. But this is what you have to look at, guys. And because we'll be implementing these various things, and I think the growth rate will slam these low prices like 6 cents if we're getting that in Bitcoin MYK. I think the overly large growth rate coupled against our website and a great demand to achieve something people want will theoretically, economically speaking, if we look at the growth of Bitcoin and early Bitcoin with people giving away, I think most of the Bitcoin, it drove up, right? So, in our model, we're expecting a similar early day Bitcoin situation. In addition to that, when we speak about the universal basic income and all these people getting these tokens, possibly selling them to afford a better living, meeting their basic needs, there will be these fronts that meet, right? It may be the speculating front meets the downward pressure of the universal basic income shorters, right? People selling their tokens to survive. And then you'll have speculators somewhere in the middle. They will clash, right? Here's the beauty of that, and here's why I think this can be a good position still for everybody. And this is how I kind of see it going. That clash of fronts will limit volatility, which is what you want. You want limited volatility. You don't want the market going up 80% and dropping 70% or dropping all the way to the floor. What you want is a stable price that moves stable and steadily up, right? So you want 6 cents to go from 7 cents and 7 cents to 8 cents. You don't necessarily want 6 cents to jump to 20 cents and 50 cents because that type of volatility sometimes is very negative. It's negative for using Bitcoin MYK to pay people in a future like we're adding now, because it could possibly mean that when they get paid the next day, the money they have in their exchanging their work for value goes down 90%, which is no good for them. It can go down before they can even get the benefits from, which means they've lost from their labor. And that's what the cryptocurrency market has offered us. And unfortunately, because we've used it as a casino, we haven't taken the time to study that and truly understand that you want stable value going up so it can be used as a money value you can hold someplace else. And so those two fronts meeting, I think we'll have a situation possibly like Bitcoin, where every year you see this steady, great growth, right? And you don't see these coins stuck in limbo that don't move, that you're hoping and praying that they will go up someday, and you're just kind of sitting there chanting. With this could be a feasible, viable, working product that makes sense to people, that you can see the value in the websites and the platform and the people using it and the value coming in, not just some obscure coin that we're hoping makes it, and they got a few gambling applications that are still doing what we did in the cryptocurrency market, which is treating it like a casino. Now they're just literally treating it like a casino. So guys, that's all I want to say about that. Guys, I hope you're having a great weekend. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. Also, don't forget to claim your universal basic income tokens. You need to claim them today, guys. Today is going to be the deadline on that. If you don't make the claim today, you're probably not going to be able to claim any until January, last day of January. Okay, so that's all I want to say, guys. Guys, if you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, take care.